how early in someone's leadership career do you think they start to realize that their limited abilities is what's holding them back? Do you think most people actually realize that? It sounded like in that room, those questions helped them realize that, or maybe they already knew that. Or do they point the
Yeah.
finger at other people? Nobody else
Yeah.
understands.
Yeah.
Because there has to be a level of
I
humility.
don't know how early a leader feels it,
Yeah, it
but
would
I do
depend.
know
Yeah.
the symptoms that they feel. And
Okay.
it is that, and Dorothy already referred to it. It's that the symptom of, I feel like I keep taking 5 steps forward and then I get yanked backwards by 3 steps,
Mm-hmm.
or I take 10 steps forward and get yanked backwards 15 steps. And so it's this sense that I feel like I'm making progress and then something yanks me back and
Hmm.
pulls me back again. And when a leader can recognize that there are themes in the things that are pulling them backwards.
Yeah.
There are issues that are causing them to get pulled backwards. That's when they can begin to get unleashed. And so don't know when it exactly starts, but I do
Yeah.
know what you feel. And I do know that it's also I mean, we've talked to CEOs of Fortune
Hmm.
500 companies who
Mm.
go, oh yeah, I'm leashed right now. And we've talked to frontline managers who are two months into their leadership and they're going, oh gosh, I'm already starting to feel the leash.
Yeah.
So
So maybe we don't know when it starts, but what we do know is it doesn't end,
but it can get better.
but it can get
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Probably the very first time I was given a management role,
Mhm.
I immediately realized I was leashed. Well, when things were all going easy, then it's easy. But when there's a problem, people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, which in my case, there were these two people on a team of like 12 that I was managing where it's like, oh, if I didn't have these two people, but I think that's just how it is, right?
Yeah.
Like if I didn't have these two people, everything else would be easier. But
Yeah.
that's when you actually had to learn some skills
Yeah.
because I didn't know how to deal with those situations. So walk me through, I believe it's a 3-step process from your book that helps somebody go from leash to unleash. Is that correct? Can you kind of
Yep.
maybe
That
You got
is
it.
fill me in on that?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course these all have to start with the same letter. But
Yeah.
anytime
I
there's a
wrote a book. I know how it is.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to use alliteration or rhyme
Yeah.
or
right,
something.
right, easier to
Yeah.
remember. So
Yeah.
anytime there's a process, we always need to start with decide. Before we
Okay.
move forward, before we make a commitment, we need to decide if this is worth it, if it's important enough
Hmm.
to us to do all of the hard work that the process is going to entail. So step
Mm-hmm.
one is to decide, am I going to commit to this and am I going to commit to it with conviction?
Hmm.
The second step in the
Can I
process.
dive into that a little bit
Yeah,
deeper?
sure,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
please do.
you need to decide with conviction. Like,
Yes.
it seems like it should be an obvious choice. Like, oh, of course I want to get better, but it might not be because you have to. It's gonna be painful, or it might be
Yes.
some struggle. Like, what does it look like to decide with conviction? Because probably it's more dangerous to have to decide I'm gonna make a
Right.
change than to say I'm gonna go through this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talk about there are actually different types of conviction.
Okay.
And there's we call this types of striving in the book.
Okay.
How are we going to strive to make this happen, to make this change happen? We have stalled striving. That's where you make the decision that I'm going to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't put the right energy into it. You don't spend the time that you need to actually strategize about how you're going to move forward. So then you just go blazing out there and everything stalls out. And then there's scattershot striving. That's when we just try a series of plans and see
Mm-hmm.
what works. We use the image of, a scattershot shooting where bullets just
Mm-hmm.
fly everywhere and not on an intended target.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we have the strategic striving.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where you actually put thought into it. You've planned, you know exactly what your target is, how you're going to pinpoint that target to put the right actions in place to move forward. So that's what conviction looks like, is spending the necessary time to choose that strategic striving.
So
Yeah.
it's not just I decide to be a better leader. I'm going to focus. I'm going to clarify. Here's what I want to get better at. Uh,
Yes.